She went to school. She was 18, 19. She was still up at school. She never went to work until she never went to work in her life until she. Oh, I mean, she was well in her 30s, and before she actually during the war, she had to do some essential work. So that was the first time she ever worked. She always was at home all the time.
So what did your mum do during the war then?
She worked for a company called Reclaimers. And so she went around in a lorry and drove the lorry. And there was this elderly man who was the heavy work man. And they collected all the railings around people's houses, pulled up all the railings, because it all went for to make guns and things. So no house had railings or anything like that. So that was my mum's job. She drove the lorry around, and this guy used to dig up the railings and load them on the back, and they used to bring them wherever it was, to the different factories that made the bullets or whatever it was the railings were made for. And she done that for the first few years during the war, until I don't think there was any railings left by the time they'd finished on our area. Anyway, because there was all the railings, every house had railings before the war, and all of a sudden you wouldn't see a railing anywhere. Yeah. But every house had railings, but it just went. And I think that's the first time she ever worked, really, and that was for her a pleasure. She loved driving.
Did she carry on working after the war?
Yeah. Then she went to work, after the war, she went to work in Heinz's, you know, the Heinz baked beans and Heinz food, yeah. She went.
Surprised, is that a German company? That as well.
But they worked all through the war, Heinz, yeah. It was, as I said, the different things that happened. But
Tommy was never old enough to be. Tommy was
never, he was called up, but he was grade 4. He had a defective, I always remember, he was proud of telling people, I've got a defective, something of the heart. I can't remember what it was now, but something of the heart. Congenial defect to the heart he had. And he was grade 4. But he had to do essential work in the way in a factory, or like he went with well, he's in there, Joe Devlin was a contractor, and he went with Joe repairing bomb damaged buildings and that, you know, making them safe, which was part of
was that classic. Trying to put them back up, or just to stop them keep falling?
To stop any damage, like in case it fell, like, you know, and condemned ones that they couldn't do anything with, but repaired what they could. Well, that was classed as essential work, so that's what he done, which it was up his street doing things like that, and having to get up in the morning. He was a lazy pup, he didn't like work. But yes, that was it. He liked working with Joe Devlin, because Joe would call him and say, I'll call back for you in an hour, and that suit Tommy fine. And then Joe would pick him up and they'd go and do whatever they had to do. But Joe done most of the work. Tommy was only the one passing. He'd say, pass me that, and Tommy would pass it to him. So we came back after a couple of years. We were in Ireland for 18 months, 2 years.
So you came back during the war?
Oh, so. Yeah. And then I had to go back to school, that's why.
In England?
But here, that was it. I was the biggest dum-dum in the class, because I could learn all that Gaelic in Ireland, and then coming, what they were being taught were far advanced to me, because I was still back in 3 years ago. I couldn't wait to leave 14. The day I was 14, it was a holy day of obligation, and we had it off from school to go to Mass. The All Saints Day, the 1st of November, I was 14, and I said bye-bye school, and I never went back.
You can't even leave till you're 16 now.
Never got a leaving certificate, nothing. I went with my friend down to Barker's in High Street, Kensington. Well, I went to Barker's and I got a job in Barker's on the 3rd floor, knitwear. But all I done was the messages and wiping all the glass, all the knitwear was in kind of glass cabinets. Oh, yeah. She lifted up and down, wiping, cleaning all them windows and straightening them up and sweeping the floor and going and getting the tea for the buyer, and the other assistants wasn't allowed to do anything. After a year, I was fed up with it, and the war was still on, and my mum didn't want me going all the way to Barker. So I go with Jotton and Woolworths. I liked that better up the Harrow Road. So it was all the young men and that, and all the young women were in the different forces. So it was elderly people that run. The manager, he was retired when the war started, but he came back to help out. And the supervisors was the same. They were all retired ex-staff that came back to help out. And very, you do this and you do it that way, you don't do it that way, you do it this way. Everything had to be, which as soon as they left and the younger people came back, everything changed and you didn't have, but that all, in one way it was a sad thing that stopped, that attitude, because it didn't hurt nobody, but sometimes you felt as if you could punch somebody, but
a bit too formal for
it was, very strict.
Yeah. Is that where you were working when the war ended?
No, where did I go? No. Elsie, that was my friend. She worked at Woolworths as well. And my mum at this time had a job over in Old Street or the East End with these Jewish brothers, Nat Sloan. And they were well into black market them days. Most of the Jewish people were.
Really?
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say that, but they were. So we never went short because my mum was secretary to Nat, and he was able to get tea and sugar and all that.
So you didn't listen to the ration
she had to
books,
pay for it, it cost her, but she still went. And Nat Sloan and his brother decided they hired this Italian guy, forget his name now, Alf. He used to make cream before the war, so they made this. It was vile. It was absolutely vile taste, but they made this. It looked like ice cream, and they had cornets and they asked my mum about me. Was I working? And Mum said I was at Woolworths. So I said, could she and her friend come down and sell the ice cream? So Mum said to me, and I said to Elsie, so Elsie was all for it. I said, yeah, down Oxford Street, yeah, see all the American soldiers and all this business. And if you walked along by that shop, where all you saw all along the street was ice cream and coke. They were tasted and dropped.
Why was it so disgusting?
Didn't have the stuff to put in it.
Oh,
you
no
needed
sugar.
You needed dried milk, you needed all that. And this Italian guy who was supposed to be an ice cream professional, maybe he was before the war when he had all the ingredients. Oh, it did taste awful. It was icy, I'll give it that. Like
At least it was cold.
It was a long time before rationing stopped. We still had ration books. As I say, we didn't do too bad. And then my mum was friendly with Butcher Bolton across the road, in Kensal Road. So as she was able to get the tea and sugar and that from Nat Sloan, she'd sell some to him, and then he'd give her extra bit of
So was it
tea.
commonplace a lot of the black market? Or?
Well, it was if you had money, like they did, the Sloans.
Yeah.
Generally a lot of the black market was the Jews. The Jews had that wrapped up really and truly, especially over the East End, where my mum worked. But the ordinary people, they didn't get a smell in really, unless you knew, like my mum, if she knew somebody.
So it's because she knew someone, that's why she was...
That's why, if Mum had not gone over the East End and got that job, we wouldn't have known anything about it,